So good evening, Celine here. Good evening to all of you.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yeah, it's 7 p.m. sharp. So, do I have your permission to start?
Of course.
We are having around 10 participants. I think others will join as we start. Okay. So, I've been seeing your answers on the chat box. We'll take it on after some time. So today is a day one, and today what we are going to discuss or learn is what are the market opportunities for an ISO consultant. And some of you are aware of ISO standards, but not everyone. And the perspective which I carry as a consultant is different. So I'll also share what does ISO 9001 implementation mean. We'll also discuss which are the sectors which are eligible, and under each sectors, what are the categories, business categories we'll have. And while discussing these sectors, so we'll also discuss what are the add-ons. You know, each sector has different additional ISO standards which are required. We'll also discuss what is the market size for ISO consultants, and what are the ways and means to reach them, and why ISO 9001 for organizations. This is what we are going to discuss today. But I'll also take you through what we are going to discuss in next 4 days, 5 days. Is day 2, that is tomorrow. We'll discuss how, as an ISO consultant, you can provide your consultancy services. So we'll dwell upon how system development is to be done, how system implementation is to be done, what does system assessment mean, and how can you support an organization for system certification. Day 3, we are going to learn how do we price our services, whether for turnkey assignment or project based or milestone based, or on a retainership basis, on training basis. Because what we have a commitment from my side is, how do you shape up as an ISO consultant and earn 2 lakhs rupees per month, and that makes around 25 lakhs per annum. Day 4, we learn how do you launch yourself as an ISO consultant. How do you prepare your brochure? How do you present yourself? What kind of groundwork you need to do? How do you manage your sales accounts? And how do you sign up your first project as an ISO consultant? Day 5, we'll discuss about skilling yourself. We are going through 5 days course. That is a start. Then I'm also supporting all the participants in weeks to come, at least for the next 12 weeks. Every week, 9 to 10, I'm taking up a education slot about a subject which you can use for adding value to your customers. Plus, we'll have a question answer session, because as you practice, because we are talking about online consultancy, you don't have to travel, so you'll be able to provide service to international clients also. You can provide a service to a rural India also. So how do you do that? So for doing that, you need to skill yourself. So how do we skill ourselves? What to learn, what are the sources, and because I believe that learning improves earning. Ready to learn? Can I have a raise of hands so that we can begin? Can we? Yeah. Thank you so much. Good. Thank you. So today, as it is, I told we are going to learn what does ISO 9001 mean? how does it implementation, because we are talking about consulting. We're not going to discuss about certification. We're not going to discuss about auditing. That is not the part of this course, because auditing is totally different ball game. So a brief session I'll have on what, why, and how quality management system 9001 2015. What is the focus of ISO 9000 standard? Can you write your response in the chat box? What is the focus of ISO 9001 2015? Quality management, standardization, risk-based, okay, customers focus, system implementation, customer satisfaction. Shruti, thank you, Shruti. What else? What is the focus or purpose of ISO 9001? Continual improvement, okay. Mhm. Okay. So I'll share my understanding to do job systematically. Okay. We need Celine, quality, risk management, continual improvement. Narendra Kumar, good. Continual improvement. Okay. Good. Okay. So the purpose of ISO 9001 standard is sustainable business growth. Nigel Croft, the chairperson of ISO committee, who has developed this standard, 9001-2015, and when he released this standard in Bombay, he came to India in 2015 for release of these standards. In Bombay on 21st September, when I had the opportunity to attend the session, he mentioned that ISO 9001 standard has been designed a manner which will help an organization to grow its business consistently and in sustainable manner. And he also said earlier the ISO standards were reviewed or revised every 5 years. 87 the standard was launched, so 94 the first revision came, second revision came in 2000, then 2008, and this 2015 standard is the standard which will be valid till year 2030, because this standard has been aligned to many of the sustainable standards, including sustainable development goals and all. How to achieve sustainable business growth? ISO 9001 focuses sustainable business growth. So how to achieve sustainable business growth? Can you mention in a chat box? How to achieve sustainable business growth? What is your response? Innovation, Tirupati Rao, sell and maintain the customer. Okay. What else? Shruti, what is your answer? Vijayan, Ramesh, continual improvement, cover risk. Okay. Vedin, okay. Customer satisfaction. Kumarvel, continuous improvement in quality. Add value to customers. Vishnupriya, customer satisfaction. Okay. Damodar, process approach. Sanjeev Verma, stakeholder satisfaction. Kuldeep ji, the following best standard systems. Okay, good. We'll take move on. To achieve sustainable business growth, an organization should focus on these five standards, five pillars. Number one, it should use the ISO standards in developing strategies and executing or deploying these strategies. This is number one. Number two, use the ISO standard in understanding the needs, expectations of all your stakeholders and engage them. We'll discuss that as we move on. Then risk-based thinking, because if you see the new ISO standard 2015 standard, the term preventive action has been completely eliminated. So once the organization has adopting a risk-based approach, it means that they are prepared for certain uncertainties, and they'll only work on the problems which they face by using two strategies. One is correction and second one is corrective action. Correction is basically you resolve based on your experience immediately, as well as corrective action is you go to deep into the problem or a root cause of the problem, understand why, and then try to see that it should not reoccur. That is what is corrective action. One of the reasons why the word sustainable has been used is organizations are expected to look at inclusive growth for the all the stakeholders. It is not the only CEO growing. Along with the organization, the stakeholders associated with should also grow. So for that to happen, business performance are categorized into three areas: economic performance, environment performance, and social performance. Now, for achieving these three, ISO had arrangement with global reporting standard, that is sustainability reporting standards, called GRI standards. These GRI standards stipulate something called as triple bottom line. And in times to come, most of the organizations will have to prepare a sustainability report, so that if I want to do a business with you, I need to look at sustainability report. If I want to fund you, do funding to you, I need to look at your sustainability report. So if I want a global contract, ISO 9001 would not suffice. It will require something called as sustainability report. The third thing which ISO talks about is it's not only corporate social responsibility. Even a small organization is expected to ensure that they take care of their immediate stakeholders like employees, service providers, and community around. So it is their responsibility to ensure, because we are talking about inclusive growth. And when Dr. Nigel Croft was talking about it, so we all had this question in mind: how do we implement this? How do we achieve this? So then he talked of something called as 7 principles of quality management. See, to become an ISO consultant, you need not really know ISO standard. You don't have to remember ISO as clauses and all. Just remember these 7 principles, implement these 7 principles. I think the client will be benefited. Another thing which many people feel that ISO means documentation. It is not so. ISO means implementing these 7 principles. I'll take you through, because I'm trying to build a ground so that we are on the same page for next 5 days actually. So we'll take up first principle, which is customer focus, and it means that these are some of the action items which we are supposed to do as an organization. Number 1, we should map the requirements of the stakeholder. Say, for example, employees. Start with employees. What are the needs of employees? What are the expectations of the employees? And similar fashion, you have to do it for service providers, customers, different types of customers, statutory regulatory body, the community around, the investors, the management, everyone. They're all stakeholders. That is the first activity you have to help an organization do. Because unless until you know these requirements, we'll not be able to develop processes. Because processes are required to meet these requirements. Second thing which an organization is supposed to do and a consultant is supposed to do is help discuss with the client organization and identify what could be the future requirements of the customer. I repeat, as a consultant, we should discuss, have a brainstorming session, and then try to arrive at what could be the future requirements of your clients, and then create or derive a solution or a product which can be served. Third thing, which is universal, and customers pay for the value we create. All customers. So you should be able to, because many organizations fail. Many organizations are afraid, or go low in the business because there is too much of competition. So the only way where you can differentiate is by creating value. So as a consultant, you should discuss with the client which are the ways where you can create value to your customers. And basically, I use ISO for helping clients to add more customers, improve employee performance, or achieving the business goals or business plans. So during this consultation process, we should also talk about to the client how are we creating value for the customers, their customers. Then look at the customer feedback and then help them to analyze and arrive at some inferences or action items based on the customer's feedback. This is the fourth action item. Like this, you can go on. If you look at business excellence models like Ramkrishna Bajaj or Malcolm Baldrige or EFQM business excellence model or Rajiv Gandhi Quality Award, all this award criteria have some principles or some criteria like this, and from there you can pick up some action items and then try to do consulting. Another important item which we should do is risks and opportunities. Every activity you do in an organization, there is an element of risk and there is an opportunity for you to improvise. So this is an exhaustive study which needs to be done. Risk and opportunities against meeting the requirements of the stakeholder. This is the first principle which, as a consultant, you don't have to remember any clause numbers and all. Believe me, I don't advocate remembering clause numbers and trying to serve a client. You don't. I have been telling in my presentation earlier also that a smart graduate with just 5 years of experience in industry can become an ISO consultant. You don't require 32 years like me to become an ISO consultant. You don't require, you don't have to work in a quality department to become an ISO consultant. And that's where I'm coming and then trying to create self-employed individuals who can serve even small organizations. Not Wipro, Infosys may not require our services, but there were a lot of small organizations which need these services. The second principle is about leadership. And in leadership, I advocate the SWOT analysis, because when you do SWOT analysis, it helps you to formulate strategies for an organization. And I promote SWOT analysis at least once a year, because if you don't do SWOT analysis sometime during January or December, you'll not be able to prepare yourself for the next financial year. Or there are many organizations which practice as a calendar year, like January to December. So if they want to do SWOT analysis, the right time would be somewhere around August, September, October, because you need at least 2 months to come up with the action items and scheduling your calendar from January to December or April to March kind of thing. Second thing which I suggest as a consultant is, see, we don't frame their purpose, we don't frame their vision, mission, values. We only ask questions, we only help them to arrive at, or we help them to relook at their purpose, relook at their vision, mission, values. Because sometimes, I've seen many smaller organizations, the context is smaller organization, not corporates. Some website design fellow has prepared their vision, goals, targets, and that doesn't make sense to their employees also. It is expected that an employee should be connected to the purpose of the organization, to the values of the organization, and he or she should know where we are going and how are we going to achieve that. Third area where as ISO consultant we should help our client organization is working on goals and targets for organization, goals and targets for different divisions or different processes in the organization. And also we should help them in preparing action plans for achieving the goals and targets. See, normally a small organization doesn't develop leaders because they feel insecure that people will leave and become our competitors. That is true also. But if you don't develop leaders, what will happen is the organization will not grow. The best way, leadership is all about developing, producing leaders. So the best way an organization should grow is producing leaders, because then only you'll be able to scale up. Then only you'll be able to sustain your business. Without developing leaders, one-man army cannot do everything. So as an ISO consultant, suppose tomorrow you become an ISO consultant, it is expected that you encourage entrepreneurs to have their second line, third line in their organization, so that he can focus in the organization development. Actually, ISO standard is a standard which is meant for organization development. In fact, my first company, the name I have kept is Organization Development Consultants, because I use ISO for organization development. Moving on, the third principle of ISO standards is engagement of people. And what I mean by engagement of people, what kind of action items we would have under engagement of people. There could be many, including culture development and all. But I go into basic. First is the organization design. How does the structure look like for an organization? Many owners don't know how to put an organization chart in place. We have to help them. Second area is define the position wise. If you are appointing a receptionist or a sales guy, what should be the background? What kind of competency? Competency in terms of education, experience, skill, and training. This education, experience, skills, and training. So what does he or she should carry to take charge as that sales executive? What will be his role? Role should be always defined in one line. Responsibilities, when you see many organizations, they define responsibilities in 10 pages, one page kind of a thing. Now, it is always better. So it is, you let employee know that these are the 5 areas where you should deliver results. 1, 2, 3, 4. It is also in some terms, it is known as KPA, KRA, KPIs. But don't go to that level, but make it simple. So for each position, sales executive, these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the results you should deliver. And if he has to do that, you have to define the authorities, because you are giving responsibility to carry out that responsibility. Please define the authorities. Next thing which many organizations is knowledge management. Everything is hidden, and they don't have a system for sharing knowledge. and sharing experiences. And that doesn't help them to correct their systems, or they don't have a learnings curve in the organization. Third area is skill development. They presume that employees know, but it is a responsibility of an organization to create a system, a process where continuous skill development of the team members happens. Because if you have a trained employees in the organization, the owner, business owner, will be able to organize the efforts and help achieve the desired outcomes or results. What I mean by people performance management is not appraisal system. I think it is always better to have something called a self-assessment form for individual employees in the organization. When I used to have about 50, 60 employees in year 7, 8 or 6, 2006 to 2009 before recession, I had created, I don't believe in superior appraising, subordinates and all. I created a self-assessment form, a one-page form with about 11 areas where an individual can assess himself or herself and write down what areas he or she would like to improve in next 1 month or 2 months or 3 months. And I used to administer this every month. That helps actually. All people in the organization would like to feel they are very important, and we have to find ways to reward and recognize these individuals. Need not be money. There are many ways. So as an consultant, you should be able to talk to entrepreneur and discuss how do you give importance to your people. Use this word. Don't say that how you reward or recognize. He'll always relate with incentive. No. Sometimes incentives are bad for the morale. So when I'm talking about rewards and recognition, it need not be monetary. So you have to help organization formulate this, because this is what influence the engagement of people. People will feel connected. The sense of belongingness with the organization improves with this. So since we have done with three principles, I would like you to post your questions in the chat box so that I can answer, and that helps all of us, basically. Questions related to customer focus, questions related to leadership, questions related to engagement of people. Do not worry about the clause numbers of ISO, because that's not the subject we are going to talk about. It is not a lead auditor course. It is not an auditing course. It is a course which is only how we can serve a client to improve themselves. So I want you to ask questions in the chat box, because that will help me to address each one's question. Mr. Vasant Pai says measurement of these are also needed. Yes, sir, there are ways and means to do that, sir. We have to, there is no one way. You can come up with find a way which is very simple. Please ask questions in the chat box, because it will help me to give answers which I know. And if I don't have the answer, I'll say I don't know. So, Mr. Tirupati Rao, do the small company leadership open and answer our questions? Open to, can you rephrase this question, Mr. Tirupati Rao? We have discussed this in Ms. Vishnupriya. We have discussed this role of ISO consultant is to help improve the set up the processes, improve the performance of people and the performance of the organization. In the webinar, I had mentioned that. Mr. Ramesh, what is the question? Identify the need of customer and align the organization to work to be called as customer focus. That's true. Yeah. So I understand, Mr. Tirupati Rao. You said that do the small company leadership open to the ideas of yes and no. It is how you have conversation with the organization. Because if you want to talk, if a small organization owner wants to talk to you, he should trust you. He should you should be able to build relation with him. Then only you'll be able to discuss this. Krishna Prasad, question is, when we identify risk and opportunities while focusing on customer, do we need to categorize risk? Yes, risk assessment is a process actually, risk management. You identify, you decide its significance level and then decide on mitigation and all those things. Vasant Paiji, management business objectives, setting, tracking, review customer, part of these three principles. Yes, sir. Vasant Paiji, yes. Celine says requirement mapping. How can we do this? Mapping on the ISO system or organization. Celine, what I mentioned to you is please list out, if you go to an organization, please list out, the first step is please list out the stakeholders of the organization. Create a table. First column, it should be stakeholders. Second column, needs. Third column, expectations. Needs plus expectations become requirements. And the fourth column, you should mention what process. That's how you map the requirements. That's what I do actually. Shruti, how to work on person-to-person perspectives and understanding are different. In that case, how to handle this? Shruti, it comes by practice. You should be able to, as a consultant, you instead of you speaking more, you have to make your client talk more, and then you'll be able to understand, and then you respond to based on the kind of response the client is giving to you. There is no one standard solution. There is no one standard solution. The ISO standard talks about standard requirements, but meeting the standard requirements, there are 100 ways to achieve it. So when your question is how to work on person-to-person perspectives and understanding are different. In that case, how to handle this? It comes with practice, Shruti. That's what I believe. And more relationship building is what is required. More communication between individuals is required. Narendra Kumar, just how customer will identify risk and opportunities for his organization and business in the same way how ISO consultant has risks and opportunities. See, a customer before giving an order, he will have his own ways to find the risk first, and also see what is the value proposition you are giving. That's how he is going to engage you. As an ISO consultant, as an individual itself, we all have risks and opportunities. So we have to figure it out and decide what we have to choose. Choices with us. Whether we have to find any single point of contact with the customer. To begin with, yes, because then you build on relation. Because in small organization, the single point of contact would be business owners. See, when we are discussing here, because you have to start with a small organization and graduate to serve medium level organization, corporates, etc. The way I did it. Any questions I have missed? Let's check. No, I don't think so. Chali, thank you. Kuldeep Singh. Could you please repeat the mapping process? Kuldeep Bhai, create a table. First column, type of stakeholder. That is the title. Second column, needs of the stakeholder. Third column, expectations of the stakeholder. And fourth column, processes to meet the needs and expectation. So stakeholders are management, investors, from where we bring money and run the business, to employees, service providers, customers, statutory bodies, regulatory bodies, community around. This is primarily these are the stakeholders. And you have to carry out brainstorming session. You don't give the answer. Let the organization tell you what are their expectations and all. This is how you do. Is that okay, Kuldeep? Narendra Kumar, how to educate customer who has low value in getting ISO? Improve your outlook towards ISO. You have to believe in ISO system. When I'm talking about conducting this program and saying that I am trying to develop 1 lakh ISO consultants in India, that means it has so much value in it. So unless until we value ourselves, because today also I got a lead where 3-4 leads, one from Himachal, one from Mumbai. The Himachal वाला बोलता है कि मुझे 3000 में सर्टिफिकेशन मिलता है. तो मैंने बोला कि भाई हमारे पास उतना एक्सपर्टाइज नहीं है. बॉम्बे वाला बोलता है हमको 3000 में 3 साल के लिए सर्टिफिकेशन मिल रहा है. तो हमने बोला कि सर हम लोग को एक्सपर्टाइज नहीं है, हम लोग काम नहीं कर सकते. हम लोग का चार्जेस अलग है, 2 लाख लगता है. और अगर स्मॉल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, it is 15,000, 20,000, 25,000. So that's how. So we value. It's more of a self-esteem. How do you value? How much value you give to yourself? If you don't value yourself, you will not be able to value others or the subject which you carry. Good. We move to the next principle, which is called as process approach. Now, process approach. Have a look at this, because this is I picked up from the ISO standard. So as a consultant, when you sit down with the client organization, small organization, every small organization would have at least 25 to 30 processes. Right? In every small organization would have 25 to 30 processes. For each of this process, you create this process chart, where you mention what are the activities in that process, what are the inputs what are the sources of inputs, what is the output, and who are the receivers of the output. When you do this, you'll have a lot of clarity, and you'll also be able to know what kind of controls and checkpoints you'll adopt or have at each level, as at the source level, at the output level, different levels. At each stage, you'll have to identify what kind of controls and checkpoints, because if you have that, then you'll be able to monitor and measure the performance of an organization. Why I'm telling you all these things is, these are the very simple rules, and this you don't have to do. You are a consultant. You have to make the client organization do this. You don't prepare. You don't become an employee of the client. And you will say there may be a question that client may not have competent people. Normally, it doesn't require much competence. It requires a discussion. You have to discuss and prepare. Next thing which you do once these flowcharts are done, you have to prepare something called as process manual. The output of your consulting work should be process manual. Each organization should be able to run its business on this process manual. This is a process documentation where you will map the, you'll compile the flow charts, you'll compile the risk mitigation, risk assessment and mitigation plans. You'll also compile the process performance measures, improvements, and documents, formats, and records for each of the processes. Now, the difference between documents, formats, and records. Documents are reference material used by an organization to refer and carry out their work. It could be specification, it could be a drawing, it could be a procedure, it could be a guideline, it could be an instruction. That is a document. If it is generated within the organization, it is called as internal document. If it is sourced from outside or created by some external agency and you are referring to it, is called as external document. So whatever internal or external document you are using for a particular process, you should have a master list of, for all the processes, you should have a master list of it. The next thing which is known as formats. Formats are, you created a format, a form, pro forma, where you collect information, either before starting the work or during the work or after completion of the work. It's a blank format. It could be a register, it could be a form, application, checklist, and when it is a blank one, it is called as format. When you fill it up and store, it becomes records. So for every process, you should have documents, you should have formats, internal documents, external documents, internal formats, external formats, and list of records. Irrespective of internal, external, you don't have to write there, list of records. There is another term which I have not used it, is files. The difference between files and records is evidence of performance and normally derived through the formats. Whereas a collection of data, or compilation of information for reference is a file. There are a lot of applications which has come. You can, or suppliers have sent a lot of brochures, etc. You maintain a file. That is not a record. Very important subject. So before I move on to the other principles, I thought I'll ask some questions which you have in mind. Please use chat box to answer the questions, please. Questions on process approach. Tirupati Rao garu, how to get 20 to 25 processes? Sir, when you go to an organization, you say, for example, a small organization, the HR itself, you will have a process for recruitment, one process, training, one process. Similarly, if you go to marketing and sales, inquiry generation is a process, order processing is a process. Then event organizing event is a process. Branding is a process. So there are, you can do even 50, 60 processes. But what I suggest, ideally for a small organization, the main process and sub processes should not be more than 20, 25 kind of thing. Then only the owner will be able to manage it well. Yes. Then Ramesh ji, it is a logical path from start to finish. I have not understood your question, Mr. Ramesh Chandra. Then the key steps of process flowchart. Sir, I'm not going to talk about how to prepare flowchart. Actually, that's a totally separate subject, So, but you should be able to learn. This much you can always prepare. This is the chart. For every process, what are the inputs, what are the sources of input, what are the outputs, who is going to receive, what control checkpoints, इतना तो बना ही सकते हैं हम लोग when you go to. And if you worked in an organization for 5 years, you will be able to understand what language I am talking about. Krishna Prasad, is there any method to identify interdependencies of process? Yes, only a discussion, and output of each process could be an input of other process. So once you enter and then serve the client, I think you'll be able to. Vasant Pai ji, every process needs owners to be defined and actions and timelines. Okay, for each process. Okay, yes, sir, it is to be done. I didn't understand the question, but the statement which you have given, yes. Damodar, can an organization function without documents and formats? Yes, it can. Kumarvel, I believe we need to create process document. Yes, sir. You don't have to create. That's the biggest mistake as a consultant can do. You have to make them you give them structure, you give them a guidance, you give them a motivation to do, you give them a why they should do this. You should talk about what, why, and how, and they should implement it. That's what your job is as a consultant. Vasant ji, also publishing process so that everyone is aware of them. Training of process, yes, sir. That's important. Then, yes, whatever activities are done is a process. No, sir. Whatever activities are done is a process, sir. A set of activities, when transformed into a desired output, it is a process actually. So you'll have to decide which set of activities will be a process. You'll make it into a process kind of. Shruti, as you mentioned, we need to discuss and help for process mapping. As per new standards, we need to have risk mapping as per processes or at organization level. Two ways I do it actually. One, requirement wise. An organization, there are 3 types of requirements. One is business requirements, customer requirements, and statutory regulatory requirements. That is the first. Because that gets covered in the stakeholder mapping. Second way I do risk assessment is process wise. Every process you need to do a risk assessment. Without that, you cannot move forward. You really will not be able to help a client. And for doing all this, you cannot do it 3,000 rupees and 5,000 rupees. You need to charge money to clients. How to identify risk and mitigation? So when you do identify the risk, it is basically the brainstorming session is the best. Second, you have to discuss in the brainstorming kind of experiences they had, kind of issues they had, kind of problems they had, and what kind of problems gets repeated. What are and what kind of what type of issues they foresee in future. That's how you identify the risk. And for each of this risk, you need to really know why it happens, why this failure is likely to happen. Then you prepare a ready reckoner, what we should do. Either you should eliminate, or you should transfer, you should create a alternate mechanism, or live with it by educating people. That's how mitigation is to be done. Good. Vishnupriya, are we expected to review this documents formats, or do our roles stop in letting them know they have to do this? Vishnupriya, you have to close the loop. You initiate it, you will not be able to validate it. You will not be able to tell that this is right or wrong. They'll be able to figure it out. You have to close the loop actually. So whatever documents they develop, you have to ask questions and see that they have the reason, and they should be contented. They should be happy with what document they have prepared, because the ownership comes there. When they prepare the document, implementation becomes easy. Shruti says risk analysis is a very big subject. In that, till what level we can help? It is very simple, Shruti. You don't have to use ISO 31000 to do risk assessment here. No, you are doing a brainstorming session and identifying what might fail, what kind of problems we'll have, and all those things. So more of uncertainties, and based on past experiences and likelihoods, because an entrepreneur knows what problems he might or she might have in next 3 months, 1 year, and they normally don't sleep till their problems are solved. So risk analysis, if we make them a habit, so they'll continue to do this assessment or risk assessment, and it becomes a way of life for the entrepreneur. That's my answer to you, Shruti. Okay, we'll move on. The fifth principle is about improvement, and under improvement, what I do is I discuss with the clients what kind of improvements they have done in last 3 months, last 1 year, and what kind of improvements they are planning next month, next 3 months, next quarter, next 1 year. And this helps them to really prioritize. They have so many goals, they have wish list, but they'll calendarize it, they'll prioritize it, and they'll say, okay, in June we'll try to do these improvements in these processes. In July, or we'll do this. In August, we'll do this. In January, we'll not do anything. So if you help them make a plan for next 1 year, 6 months, etc., उनको आदत आ जाएगी, basically आदत बन जाता है. Then उसके बाद they'll keep doing. Another thing which you should provoke if the organization is not going through well, because many times organization has a lot of pain points, and during the discussion, when you come to know that organization has pain points, it is your responsibility to facilitate radical changes. Radical changes, sudden changes, and that has to be triggered by you. Triggered by you means you don't have to bring the change. You have to only help an entrepreneur know that this is what might help him to change. If this change is brought in, this would help him. That's how it's going to help you. Innovations today has to be a way of life, because you will have to come up with innovative products and services to remain in the market, else we die. So we have to again charge up, give energy to the clients, that by again asking questions. Consultants' main job is to ask questions, listen. So asking questions, so you will be able to facilitate some kind of innovation practices or innovative products or solutions at organization level, so the client's business remains intact. This word many people don't understand, or they might know, they might have heard in colleges, schools, classrooms, training programs, but they don't know how to work on it. So you have to say that benchmarking is a process where you can benchmark a process or a practice either within the industry or outside industry. It could be a competitor also, or outside industry also. Say for example, in the auto industry, Ford Motors benchmarks with 8 competitors for 200 components for their car. 8 competitors for 200 components of its car. Similarly, Cadbury India benchmarks the supply chain of Unilever's. Citibank benchmarks the customer satisfaction process of Unilever's. So benchmarking, somebody who's good at in particular practice, particular aspect of a business. So this entrepreneur should be able to work on some benchmarking. Then only he'll be able to, he or she able to trigger some improvements in the organization. This is a very important subject coming to many organizations, because you can also do a lot of study on this. Cost of poor quality. You'll have to identify ways you can reduce the cost in the organization. Because no organization, especially entrepreneurs, will not have time to discuss or deliberate on what kind of cost is as apportioned to different activities, and they'll be wasting a lot of money in that process. And that, once you do this study, help them to do this study, they'll definitely come up with some quality objectives or goals and targets for themselves to improve. Change is a constant, and change should happen every day, and the best way to go about is reorganizing the resources, processes, efforts. So you'll have to talk to, because any association with the client is not for 1 month or 2 months. You will have to build a relationship as a ISO consultant for long times to come. It's not that one-time activity kind of relationship. Then you will not be able to make 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs kind of. The sixth principle is evidence-based decision making. It means that data is important to take decisions. Your experience plus data would help. Only opinions will not help an organization to move on. So there is, these are some of the areas, action items which an organization should look at. The most important is analytics. Now, every organization collects a lot of data, but I see many organizations failing in analyzing this because they don't know how to. Or second is, many times they collect irrelevant data because somebody else is doing, or they thought some kind of MIS report helps, and they don't analyze, they don't draw inferences, they don't initiate any actions based on the analysis. The seventh principle of business is about relationship management. And relationship, any life is all about relationship, and business, similarly, business is all about relationship. If you don't have relations, then you cannot do business. Relations with all your stakeholders, management, investors, employees, suppliers, customer, community, statutory regulatory bodies, and the best or the key for maintaining relationship is communication, because whether it's a parent-child or a student-teacher or a customer, organization, boss or employee, communication is key for relationship management. So what I do is I create a communication matrix which helps an organization to decide to which level of people want to communicate, what to communicate, what is the periodicity, what is the frequency, and who will communicate. All those things has to be decided, because if you have such kind of communication matrix, overlapping and confusion will be avoided. That's my understanding. In fact, recently when we completed one of the school, Johnson Grammar School's activity, it was a wonderful communication matrix which has come in. And they are existing since last 40 years, but they never developed this kind of system. So we have discussed about 3 of the important principles of ISO. So can we ask some questions? Can we discuss some questions? Vishnupriya, do we suggest any tools for improvement? At this juncture, no. Whatever action items I have suggested, that is suffice. Damodar, are any industry benchmarks open to all? If you look at sustainability reports, you can visit a website called globalreporting.org. You will be able to see all industry benchmarks there, Damodar. Krishna Prasad, can benchmarking, okay, just hold on. Can benchmarking could be called as a reference point from where the measure? Sometimes when you do benchmarking, you don't have to be like that only. You can pick up an idea and develop something of your own. That's what I suggest. You don't become like others. Just hold on. I missed somebody's question. LG joined bit late. Hope you'll share the details. Yes, your screen name is LG. Kindly change it to see your name so that I can address you. Then Damodar completed. Krishna Prasad completed. Kuldeep Singh, how to facilitate the changes ought to take place in certain pain points? Conversation. An ISO consultant or whoever is ISO consultant is basically a management consultant, an organization development consultant, and it all happens with conversations, not training. You don't have to keep training them. You have to do a lot of dialogue, vartalap, charcha, So that conversation will help, not training, and that comes with practice. So you'll have to develop Kuldeep on this. Kumarvel, you're the best judge for the question. Can you give one example of cost of poor quality, and can you explain benchmarking? Benchmarking I have explained to you a while ago, and cost of poor quality could be, what is the cost related to internal failures in the organization. It could be rejection, or a customer has rejected your service, or you lost a customer. Cost associated to this is cost of poor quality. It could be external also. Vasant Paiji, benchmarking parameters of Unilever, etc. are available in public domain. Sir, this comes with reading. When you keep reading, this I read years ago, and that's how I remember. And you'll have to keep looking for such information and then help the clients. You, as an ISO consultant, you have to be generic. You can serve all sectors. It's not limited to one sector. Shruti, under improvement, I understood. Under improvement, I understood the requirements, but sometimes for small scale industry where crunch of employees, the problems, how to work on this area. Two things which I do is engage interns to, you can, for a particular defined task, you can give that work on a contract. That is the way, Shruti. And second is communication matrix the requirement of ISO standard? Yes, it is not worded as matrix, but as a consultant, this is the solution you are going to provide to organizations. And can you share some examples? Shruti, actually, this course doesn't have, but I have given an example that stakeholder wise you can do communication matrix. What to communicate, when to communicate, use that 5W1H principle and create a table and discuss with there is no ready-made solution. Once you prepare one document, don't go with the document and dump it in the client's place. That's not the way to prepare communication matrix. So if you say for example, customers, what do you communicate, at which periodicity you communicate, that is the second table, and how you communicate, whether it's an email or a personal meeting, and who will communicate. So you create a table and then create, that is called as a communication matrix. Having that in very, even for recruitment or any activity in the organization, communication matrix would only help you to have a lot of clarity. And if there is a clarity, action becomes easy. That's what my answer or response would be, Shruti. Did I miss any question? Benchmarking. Vasant Bhai sir, tools available for benchmarking, globalreporting.org. You can refer, all reports are there for different sectors of international organizations also. Only thing you'll have to do is study, infer, and then practice. You have to learn, do a lot of learning, basically. Good. Thank you so much. So ISO 9001 consultant is supposed to help clients implement these 7 principles. You don't have to talk about ISO standard. You don't have to talk about ISO clauses. If you do this well, they'll be ready for certification if they are interested. That's the way I perceive, and that's how I practice, actually. And you'll have evidences against each of these principles. Now, the next question, who are eligible for implementing this ISO standards? So my answer would be this: organization from all industry sectors, be it a startup, micro, small, medium, or large organization, government, private, public sectors. It could be a proprietary concern, it could be a partnership concern, LLP, it could be private limited, or it could be one-person company, whatever it is. So if I take an IT sector, and under IT, these are the type of organizations which we can serve: ERP, digital marketing, app developers, software development. So all these 7 principles can be applied in all these organizations, Analytics. Hyderabad has 300 analytic companies. Just they help you in analyzing your data and help you make improvements. Yeah. Guess what type of problems IT companies face? What type of problems IT companies face? Data security, yes. Salim, thank you. Good. Attrition, very good. Good. I want you to make one of you, Damodar, can you make a note of this? Data security, attrition, technology issues, because I'll try to discuss this at the end, so that I need that help. Technology readiness, software license issues, leakage of data, it's one and same. Okay, good, thank you. Okay. Second is service sector. Indian economy or global economy, 70% are service organizations, and rest is manufacturing. So under service, you will have hospitality services, logistics services, event organizers, retail, traders, consultants, pest control. So hundreds of organizations, lakhs of organizations are there in service sector. And all these organizations are small, micro, and they all want to become big. They all want to become Wipro, Infosys or Apple. They all have dreams. So as an ISO consultant, you have to facilitate, help them look at processes, because if an organization has to grow, it needs processes to grow. And if you have processes, then people in the organization will be using the processes to develop the organization. What kind of problems service sectors face? So Tirupati Rao, yeah, skilled resources, yeah, talented people are not available. Okay. So what type of problems service sector faces? Competition, yes. Non-availability of trained manpower, yes. Complaint resolving issues, very good. Service management, okay, good. Retention, thank you, good. Infrastructure sector, you'll have builders, you have real estate, project management, property management, architects, interior designers, uh, then contractors, building materials, infra consultants, railroad, airports. India is going to come up with 500 airports as per Airport Authority, next 2-3 years, 5 years, kind of a thing. And if the airport has to come, the kind of support system it will have, so many. You know. So that's how we are going to have opportunities to work on. These are the areas where you can look at. What type of problems infra companies face? Inventory, backlogs, wonderful. Percent paisa, thank you so much. Cash flow, cash management, yes. Investment, okay. Timely completion of projects, yes. Another could be labor problems, financial crunch, yes. Manpower, yeah, labor problems. Availability of competent person, delayed payments, wonderful. Penalties, yes. EPC contractors and inventories, okay. Wonderful, thank you. Healthcare organization. Under healthcare, as an ISO consultant, you can serve these type of organizations, small hospitals. See, bigger hospitals will look at something called as NABH standards, etc. But to qualify to NABH level, the basics are not right in many small hospitals. Clinics, whether it's eye clinic, dental clinic, skin clinic, hundreds, thousands, lakhs of clinics are available in India. And as an ISO consultant, let us try to collectively serve these clients. You know, a lot of work is there. Diagnostic labs, wellness centers, gyms. Now, especially post-COVID, a lot of work for ISO consultant, you know, for us. Actually. Pharmacy distributor, surgical item suppliers, homeopathic, nutritionist. So many. Today, I closed an order for a thermometer manufacturer in Ambala, Punjab. And my colleague, Mr. Anandrao, closed an order for mask manufacturers in GD and Hyderabad, one place called Bolaram. So there are a lot of work, and medical products and healthcare products, a lot of opportunities for business. What are problems healthcare organizations face? Healthcare organizations, what type of problems they face? Failing in safety standards, yes, you're right. Then there are high cost of equipment, yes sir. Stringent rules, yes, and lot of deviations. Because they have money, they try to avoid a lot of things. Shruti, yes, training, they lack training. They don't have time for training, you know, that's Shruti. Many of the healthcare organizations don't have time for training, but you have to insist. Wrong disposal of waste, Narendra, yes. Supplier turnaround time, very good. Healthcare regulations and compliance. Yeah. So when you are doing consulting, always look at for that particular industry, what are the compliance requirements? You just Google and improve your education. You need to learn also on this. Shruti, what is polyvalence? I don't understand that word. If you can explain, or I have not used that word or have not heard this word. Okay, good. So next is education. Now, education, the kind of organizations you have is a preschools or schools, colleges, universities, training institutes, skill development centers, online education services, counseling centers, test centers. These are the organizations which we can serve. I have done many education organizations. So what type of problems education organizations face? Competition, safety and security these days. Yes, Vishnupriya, you're right. In fact, we've been conducting programs on school safety, school quality, and have been working with several schools in Hyderabad. Infrastructure, Tirupati Rover, yes. Trained persons, local language skills, standardization of study material. Ramesh Chandra Garu, local language skills, okay. Maybe yes. Standardization of study material, yes. And do you know that in 188 countries, schools are going to be closed in 188 countries globally, because these countries, these small countries, do not want to. That's their risk management strategy. They don't want to send their children to schools, and they are going to prefer online schooling or home schooling, and they'll have their choice of structuring the learning for the child. Parent-teacher meet issues, okay. Quality of teachers, yes. Lack of new technology, yes. Good. Not following statutory requirement, yes. These are the issues which you have. IT in education, yes, Vasantji. Now it's a lot of importance it is given. In fact, information security standards would get applied. Privacy rules would get applied. So as a consultant, just you start with ISO, you will have plenty of opportunities for working. Shruti, yes, innovation, benchmarking, they need to be ready for such things. Manufacturing categorized into process and engineering. So India, I was saying 6,400 types of products get manufactured in India and exported. So you take up India Mart and you'll find hundreds of types of organizations, a solar or anything. Lot of, for everything you have equipment, biomedical equipment, electrical transformers, so many things. What kind of problems manufacturing organizations face? One is sales is an issue. Second, skilling could be another issue. That's what I believe in. What else I want your help? What are the labor? Yes. Proper marketing, supply chain management, wonderful. Investment, yes. Because investors only go for technology companies, not non-maintenance of quality standard. Inventory, wonderful. Thank you. Good. Food. Many food organizations we have served, and it could be a chocolate maker, spices, hotels and restaurants. Never was, in fact, I was always on the belief that Food business will never get affected. Education will never get affected. Healthcare will never get affected. But today, one business which got affected in last 50 days was food business. Now, if you are aware of a standard called food safety standard, so many of organizations would prefer to implement that systems, so that they are alive and kicking. Food safety is the main problem, and customer confidence. Today my wife says, don't buy biryani or from outside, or don't buy pizza also from outside. Yeah. So we have seen about 7 sectors and the type of problems. Do you have any questions? So yes, certain wastage of food is an issue. Do you have questions on related to sectors and subcategories of the sector? Yes, Mr. Vasant Pai, you say FSSAI guidelines to be implemented. Yes. So when you go to a license holder of FSSAI and say that, do you have ISO certification or do you want to implement food safety? He says, I don't require because I have FSSAI license. And when you go through the FSSAI license, one of the requirement is you need to do a HACCP study, food safety study, which many organizations don't have. Kuldeep sir, which sector should be focused upon us? We'll discuss on the 3rd day. Yeah. How do we serve a sector we are new to? Yes, sir. This we are going to discuss tomorrow day after. I'm only giving you the opportunities today. So today's communication was limited to what are the opportunities to you. Creating a picture where we can serve every organization. We don't have to be experts of that organization. We might have not worked in such organizations. I have worked only in manufacturing, but today I serve IT, infra, healthcare, education, all sectors. So this course is designed in a manner so that you are motivated to take up consulting assignments with all sectors. That's the idea actually. Damodar, what should be the approach of consultant in an unrelated activity? I think 4th day is what we are going to talk about it. Vishnupriya, ISO 9000 is applicable to all these sectors. Yes, Vishnupriya. Now, as ISO consultants, we should also know at some which standards get applied where, so that there are opportunities for growing yourself. ISO standards certification is a choice. Don't promote certification. There are many people can Google and can buy certificate. What you are supposed to promote is implementation of the standard, so that the entrepreneur is able to manage and grow their business, number one, and they are able to help use these ISO standards in achieving business results. That's your job. And undergoing this 5 days course, then supported for next 12 weeks, will only help you to equip yourself and serve the clients across all sectors. Like I told you, ISO is applicable for all business organizations, including today, even an NGO comes and takes a certification because they need a processes and systems to serve their market. Environment standards, predominantly manufacturing, infra, healthcare, occupational health safety, including education institutions today. So it has become very important for education institutions. So when we deal with about 21 ISO standards. So when we serve educational organizations, we talk about 3 standards. One is quality, second is 45, safety, third is ISO 21001, which is purely for a systems for an educational organization. So integrated management system is a wonderful tool for, and in fact, one of the upcoming area where there will be a lot of opportunities is you becoming a school consultant or a quality school safety consultant. Energy management is very important. A lot of cost can get reduced. Food safety across food chain. See, all these presentations would be made available as a recording to you after 1 week, because after the course gets done, the recording will be available online. I'll share the details at the right time. But after the course gets done, we'll provide you with the recording so that you can have the lifetime access to it, and then can keep referring to and refer. So if you take notes, etc., it will get. But people don't refer. We buy so many books, we collect so much information. But I am keeping this available for all the registered participants so that it can be referred by them as and when they require. IT infra management. For most of the companies, without IT, no organization will function today. So this is very important. We have done this work with several organizations, but we could not imagine Corona. And today, people are saying they're using the new word called new normal and all. So, considering issues like situations like this, now organization, not only corporates, even a small organization like mine, I am thinking, how do I survive in 6 months, 1 year, 2 years? Because next 3 years is going to be very bad in market, and many of the bigger organizations will collapse, and there will be a set of sectors which will sustain themselves, and a lot of small players who are able to implement systems will survive. And the reason I am trying to train 1 lakh people, 1 lakh ISO consultants is I cannot do everything. So people like us can build a community and you earn for yourself. That's it, the message actually. You don't require to be a partner for me. You can earn on yourself by becoming an ISO consultant, a management consultant, and serve the market. And most important, if you are working somewhere, your salaries will not get paid in time. Your salaries will have a cut of 40% or 30%, or you will become a jobless. That is the scenario in India, across globe also. So it's right time where you should be able to prepare yourself to be a ISO consultant and help yourself. The way you position is more important. Don't talk about ISO certification. Talk about implementation of ISOs. Certification is a byproduct. Is another standard which is very, very important. Medical devices. Any questions? We were discussing about standards and sectors. Any questions you have? Okay. Since there is no question. Yeah. Any food industry specific standard from ISO? ISO 22000 is a standard which you need to. And if you read this standard, there are a lot of codex standards which are there and all. You can refer to. Ramesh Chandran, I am giving you a comprehensive information, Mr. Ramesh Chandran. I am not trying to waste a single minute of yours, so that this information as a recording is available for you to refer and charge up yourself and shape up yourself to become an ISO consultant and earn the desired income which you are looking at. Are government departments interested in writing ISO? Yes, sir. Please clarify positioning and please, Kuldeep, please clarify positioning as implementer vis-a-vis motivator for certificate. Sir, fourth day we are talking about launching yourself. You know, if you've seen my, so I'll take up this subject at that point of time. Tirupati Rao, are all these standards available online? Yes, sir. You have to buy them. Actually, have I missed any question? Yeah, Vedeshwaran, all these small companies are some way interconnected with big industries. That's the reason if you want to make this organization sustainable, the best way is implementing processes and systems. You will have to talk about sustainability to these businesses. You have to talk about business continuity and sustainability, Mr. Vaideshwaran. Narendra, anti-bribery management system ISO 37001 is there. Yeah, it is there, but we are not handling at this juncture because the kind of organizations we are serving won't require this. That's the reason we are not serving it. Narendra. Education and healthcare specific ISO standards. Sir, education ISO 21001 and healthcare specific one is NABH standard would be a good bet. Plus there is a laboratory standard called ISO 15189. That would be a good bet actually. Damodar, you told me to remind data security and attrition. Yeah, we keep that problems in with you. We'll take it up at a right time because yeah. So coming to the sir, we are at 8:31. Can I have your permission for another 15 minutes? I want you to raise your hand so that yeah, thanks. So coming to the market size, India has, in my webinar also I have told you that reason we are trying to have set such goal is in the year 2020 we are likely to add about 1 lakh customers for our small organization EPTS and about 500 customers for medium level and corporates kind of a thing, and that is the size of market. We'll discuss little later on this. These are the 11 ways to generate leads, which I have discussed yesterday. Some of you attended. I'll save some time. Service organizations data is available in Just Dial app. So we can use this data to reach out by sending SMS or inviting them for webinar. Second way is IndiaMart. Most of the manufacturing organizations are available in this site. You can collect the data, reach out to them by email, WhatsApp, SMS, or whatever way you find. Third way is industry specific apps. There are like Practo, which is related to healthcare. All clinics, hospitals, labs, data is there. Similarly, for all real estate infra companies, you'll have in Magic Bricks. Facebook, LinkedIn groups is another source. Like I'm a part of about nearly 400 to 500 Facebook groups, kind of a thing. And I keep collecting data from there and trying to reach people. There are a lot of online directories, yellow directories or yellow pages kind of a thing. So per city, every city, if you belong to Bangalore, you will have a Bangalore yellow pages. You can pick up data from there and use technology to reach out to people. Newspapers is another way where you can collect the data. Advertisements, conducting webinars is another way to generate leads. Because when you conduct webinar, you get a lot of people to attend, and this data can be used for promoting it. Events and exhibitions, participating in an events and exhibition is another way we can generate business. Industry association, Hyderabad itself has more than 150 associations. Plastic, you have software, auto, hotels and restaurants, schools. Each of the associations you have data. You can do a lot of work with these associations and grow your business. Actually. This I was talking yesterday also, some of you attended. So asking for referrals is simple way to generate business. That is the first way to you should do. When you become ISO consultant, marketing should happen by only referrals. Don't do telecalling, don't do other things. Do through referrals. You say that I have become an ISO consultant. Talk to your classmates, talk to your relatives. I think they'll definitely help you. And from when you remember one thing, Vishnu Priya, Ramesh, Tirupati Rao, Sanjeev Verma Saab. See, if you do a service to a client, that is a great opportunity to generate referral. Suppose you are serving a customer today, each customer would have at least 10 connections who can refer you, from whom you can get the business. So you have to build relation in such a manner that this client whom you are serving, sign up one client and make it 100. And that is only possible by reference. I'll not take these questions now. Now, why ISO? The reason you should promote ISO is solve the business problems. You have to use ISO standard for solving problems. Say for example, retention was another issue which many people said when we were discussing about the problems. One of the ways where you can solve problem is people don't leave organizations. People leave bosses. So please look at leadership in your organization. Another area where somebody said sales is an issue. I think the way you choose your customers and the way the process is there to choose the customer is a problem. So using ISO would help. Process flowchart and working on controls and all would help. Another thing which came up was data security. Now, for data security has become an important rule today. Government, after GDPR and all, Indian government came up with the privacy rules also, which is available on public domain. Please download it, and every organization can use this. You don't have to become a cyber security expert and all. As just an ISO consultant or a management consultant, you'll be able to serve many of these organizations. And any other problems which we discussed? Labor problems. Now, again, labor problems or most of the problems happens because the needs assessments, needs and expectations capturing is poor. They have not done that needs and expectation mapping. That's the reason problems happen. Most of the problems happen. What is PDPA Act by Government of India? Mr. Vasant, you mentioned in the chat box. Personal Data Protection Act. Okay, yeah. Thank you. I forgot about it. I was remembering the privacy rule, but it is yes. Thank you so much. So that's it. So when you, as a consultant, ISO consultant, don't try to serve market for certification. When I said ISO 9000 consultant, you are trying to serve as a management consultant. You are trying to help an organization grow. You are trying to help an organization scale up. You are trying to help an organization sustain. You're trying to help the organization add customers, improve performance of their employees, improve their, help them achieve their business goals. That is the job of ISO consultant, and you'll get paid good if you launch yourself with one project and then shape it up. We are not discussing certification anywhere. Certification is a choice. You don't have to pursue that. So yes. So So it's 8:40. I'll open the house for discussion.
Okay.
What I'll do is I'll give you an option of unmuting and asking question. So people who want to ask questions, please unmute yourself and ask question, because that will help me to give you. Yeah. So who wants to ask question? Can you raise your hand and then I can. Yeah, Vasant Pai sir. Unmute yourself, sir. I have given a permission to unmute yourself.
This you mentioned focus of ISO consulting is sustainable business growth.
Yes, sir.
Basically, I think that is I think
Hello.
this is the activity. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
Sustainable business growth is the key focus area for any ISO consultancy, 9000 consultancy you have
Yes, sir.
mentioned.
Yes, yes.
Basically, like how we achieve is basically the using the 7 principles, quality
Yes, sir.
principles.
Yes, sir.
And like if there are any issues, problems, whatever we are facing, we need to address this through
All
the 7
problems in
principles.
business can be solved by using the 7 principles, sir. All problems in this business can be solved by using this principle, sir.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah.
Shruti, you have a question. Unmute yourself, Shruti. You have raised your hand, that's the reason.
No, I don't have any question. It's by mistake.
Mr. Venkateswarlu, you have a question? Because when you ask question, it helps me to respond and give you a lot of information.
So does this include financial problems also, sir? That ISO can, you claim that ISO can solve all problems.
Yes, including financial problem. For every, ISO says that for every problem you have a solution, right? And to work on a solution, you need to have a process. And to implement the solution also, you need a process. Without that, how can you do that? Whether it is getting a cost audit done or debt syndication done or a funding done, without a process, how can you? That's my understanding.
Yeah, one more question, Mr. Sheshadri, about this approaching for the consultancy. Whom do we approach? There are
Sir.
Yeah.
I have told you day one is about market opportunities.
Sure. Okay.
Day two is tomorrow we are going to do how do we do consulting, right?
Sure. Okay.
Today we are only talking about, I have given you a background for consulting. Tomorrow we'll discuss how should we, and day after we'll talk about how should we price ourselves. Fourth day I'm going to talk about how do we launch ourselves. And fifth day I'm going to talk about how do we skill yourself. And I'm not just leaving you there. After this, starting 30th of May, every Saturday night, 9 to 10, we are having a question answer session along with the education slot of 20 minutes. So next 12 weeks, I'm going to support you. If you cannot launch in next 12 weeks your online consulting business, then this program is totally waste. My expectation is within next 12 weeks, you should be able to prepare yourself and launch. And at least if not 25 lakhs in this year, can't you earn 10 lakhs in this year? Online consulting. You can. I'll prepare you that way. In fact, the first group participants are already working with me. They're chatting with me. They're asking questions. So there is a lot of learning.
Thank you. Fine. Thanks.
By the way, how was the program? How was the session today? Can you give me some feedback so that I'll be able to work upon, because the subject was market opportunities only. Kuldeep Singh, thank you, Kuldeep Singh. You can mention in the chat box. Mr. Tirupati Rao, Mr. Ramesh Chandra, thank you. Tirupati Rao, a lot of details, and yeah, that's what I'm going to. I'm not wasted a single minute of yours. More information, and then last day we'll spend a lot of time. Kumar session is very informative. Yes, sir. The job was to give you, inspire you actually. Krishna Prasad, thank you. There is no theoretical knowledge I've shared. It's all my experience of last 32 years, sir. We are making our company 100 crores company next 3 years. And that's the faith I have in me and my business. ISO business is going to grow. ISO market is 33,000 crores of opportunities there in globally ISO certification and services implementation. So we some pie, out of 33 crores, 33,000 crores, I'm only seeking 100 crores. Vasant Pai, organized, structured information. Damodar, yes, comprehensive on market, very informative. Vasant Pai, sir, our turnover is 1 CR, sir, and we are trying to aim at 100 CR next 3 years, sir. Vishnu Priya, any questions? Selin, Mr. Lakshmikant, there are a lot of information. Miss the start to hope you get the PPT and recording. Sir, all recording will be made available only after cutting few things, and so that it is very comprehensive for you to watch. There should not be buffering and all, Kuldeep, yes, you should be hungry learner. Thank you so much. Vaideshwaran, thank you, Narendra, for the awesome presentation, informative. Yes. Vishnu Priya, I need feedback from you also. Selin, Shekhar, Ramesh Babu, Krishna Rao, kindly share feedback because that will help me.
I shared it, sir.
Yeah, okay.
I'll change my name. It was my son's name. He was using it.
Yeah.
Tomorrow I'll change the name, sir.
So it's already 8:50. I think. Thank you so much. Okay, Vishnu, you pinged it. Okay, wonderful. So nice. It will be great learning. Please join at 6:45, and we'll start at 7. We'll try to close at 8:30. But if there is a delay from my end, permit me for 10-15 minutes. I'll create a lot of value for you. You'll remember and you'll thank me for giving so much information. You'll never get this information in any book or any website also. It's a so comprehensive information I've created. Sanjeev Verma, thank you for a better structured first day. Thank you so much, Mr. Verma. Thank you so much. Vishnu Priya, okay, thank you so much, Vishnu Priya. So I take leave. I'll request all of you to, since I'm a host, I'll leave last. I request you to all to leave the room. Ramesh Chandra, I understand there are 6 crore MSME registered. Mr. Pratap Chandra Sarangi, Minister, as per today's webinar. That's what I told, sir. It is 7 crores, sir. 7 crores MSME. So, lot of opportunity is there. Please believe me. And together we can work a lot. I request all of you to say good night, and once you all leave the room, I'll be the last person to leave room because I'm the host. Sayyid Sahab, Eid Mubarak.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay, sir.